Do you plan on using Uber while you're traveling abroad? Do you know the safety things that you should be aware of before using Uber? In this video, I am going to be sharing with you my top 3 safety tips to using Uber or ride sharing. Uber and ride sharing is a great option to take while you are traveling all around the world. Obviously, they're not available everywhere in the world, but there is a number of places that you're able to use this type of transportation. Now, I love using it because one, you know how much you're going to be paying up front, so you know how much that ride is going to cost. 2, you don't have to carry cash with you. And 3, you don't need to speak the local language and try and get across where you're going to the driver. The first thing you want to do after you have requested your ride is, when your ride is confirmed and coming to you, when it arrives, is you want to go around to the front of the car and you want to take a look at the license plate number and make sure that it matches up with the license plate number that is in the app. Then you also want to come around and just lean in the window and ask them who they are picking up. You can also ask where they are going, but you don't necessarily need to ask that. As long as they know your name of the person who requested the ride, then you know that it is the right car you're going to be getting into. If all that matches up, then I go ahead and jump in the car. Now, jumping in the car is the second thing that I want to give you a little tip on safety about. Now, you always want to get into the back seat of the car. This way, you're going to be able to have a few different things available to you. First, you're not sitting right beside someone and nothing can go wrong. Because if you are traveling solo, and especially if you are a woman, you don't want any hands wandering over to you or anything undesirable. So jump in the back seat. If you're with friends, everyone get in the back seat unless you need someone up front. If you are a solo traveler, I highly recommend that you sit behind the passenger seat instead of the driver's seat. This way you have a great viewpoint of the driver and be able to see where, what he's doing and stuff like that. Another thing is good with this sitting in the back seat is that you also have access to both sides of the car to get out of. So if you feel the need to get out of the car, then you can just jump out on either side depending on where you're jumping out. And if you're just at your destination, you're able to use either side of the car to get out of. And the third thing that I always like to do is I like to keep the app open and I like to follow along of the route of where the driver is going. Now, this way it just kind of makes me feel better that I know that they're going in the right direction. There have been times where they don't take the recommended route that Uber has, laid out for them. But as long as they're going in the general direction, I don't have any problems with it because they may know shortcuts, maybe getting around traffic and a few other little things. But as long as they're going in the same direction that your destination is, you're on the right track. So definitely follow along and make sure that it is going to where you need it to go. I know that it was only 3 tips, but there is one other thing that I want to mention about safety and using ride sharing and Uber is you don't have to give your exact address to the person, to Uber or the ride sharing app that you're using. You can use, a hotel that's just down the way. You can use a restaurant. You can use, an address that is like 4 numbers off. So it's just down the street a little bit, or in a little cafe that's near your hotel or your accommodations. So you can use a different address. It doesn't matter if you're not comfortable with them knowing where you're staying. And especially if it's just where your accommodations is, you can give them a completely different address, and they're none the wiser. So you just get out, wait for the car to go away, and then you can just walk back to your accommodations. Just make sure that you note this address down when you're at your accommodations initially, so that you know the number that you want to plug in to your ride sharing and Uber information when you are requesting that ride. I hope you learned a few new things on using Uber and ride sharing while you're traveling abroad, and it gives you that courage to go ahead and use this when you're in different countries. If you have any comments, please feel free to drop them down below, and I'd love to answer those for you. If you want to learn more about travel and photography, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.